Yeah, welcome back to the Mobjazz podcast with Melvin and Jesse. Today we have a special guest from one of our most exciting things we've spoken about on this podcast. We've spoken about you guys maybe twice or thrice. Yeah.
Really?
Yes. This
Been watching.
is Patrick Monami from One Zone MMA.
Not so Patrick.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
How are you today, Patrick?
I'm good.
Mm.
I'm well.
Yeah. Patrick is jacked, if you guys can tell. He is jacked.
And I don't feel weird like giving him
Yeah.
slaps, man. I should be like,
Yeah, you should be
I don't know, like
giving
shouting.
full claps. Yeah,
Found in my chest.
it's a proper representative from how does One Zone define itself? Is it like a fight club? Is it
One Zone is a promotional company
mm.
which deals with combat sport, but specifically we are centered around mixed martial arts. Yeah,
Okay, hence the MMA.
yeah, that is MMA, mixed
Mm,
martial arts.
mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there anything that you plan on branching into, or is it like MMA are planning to focus
Push.
in for now?
Can I get that once more?
Are there any other combat sports you planning on to branching into?
Of course, like if someone is going into mixed martial arts, they have to have a background. Either they are doing karate, or they are doing boxing. There are those doing kickboxing. There are those who do Muay Thai. There are those who do judo, wrestling. So it's any discipline, even Uganda. Yes.
Yeah, and that's what we spoke about last time.
So it's all about, do you have a certain discipline, combat discipline, that you are sure that if you enter in the cage, you can defeat someone?
In your discipline?
Yes. So then usually what happens is that people find that they need to know the other bits of the other disciplines to survive in that cage.
Yeah.
So when you then must know how to kick, you know how to guard the punch, you know how to take someone down. Then the discipline where you come from is where you are supposed to is what you're supposed to use more. For example, if I'm from kickboxing, I'll do more of the kickboxing, but I'll have to know that if you take me down, I have to know how to survive and how to move away from that position or to engage from down there. So that's how it moves. That's how mixed martial art moves.
That's a ground. Is it called groundwork?
Grappling.
Grappling. You have to know Brazilian jiu-jitsu. You have to know all the other combat disciplines. You have to somehow know a bit about it.
Okay.
So that whichever position you are taken into, you are able to survive and you're able to move, to continue within the fight and not to lose. Yeah.
Random question. Do you play UFC? Have you heard of the video game?
No, I used to do video games, but I stopped because video games are a little bit addictive, and if you have work, you'll find that you can't. The day has gone when you are still on a game.
Yeah.
The day has gone, the night has gone.
Because I watch a lot of UFC. UFC is a company just like One Zone.
Yeah.
It's a promotional company in USA. It was the first promotional company. In Africa now we are two. There's One Zone and there's EFC. So UFC is just like what we are. They do what we are doing. We do what they're doing.
No, the reason I was asking is because like a lot of what you're talking about, like grappling and getting on the ground, those are like techniques and actual strategies in the game. So I just thought I think maybe you'd actually like be very good if you know this, but that sounds like real life.
Like if a guy can do it in real life, can he do it on a video game type?
I think so, because not just your fingers.
They are totally different things, because in real life, for example, if I'm going into a fight, I must pace myself. I must know where my cardio stands. I must know where my strength is. Am I going to do boxing? I must know my opponent somehow. Maybe I've watched their videos or whatever. So I must know their strengths and their weaknesses. So I have to have a strategy. You don't just go in there. Like any other game, even football, you can say we are going to play 4-4-2. Or rugby, you can say, okay, most of our balls are going to pass through the number 12 or number 10, or we are going to play in their half. You must have a strategy. So even with the same, if you're grappling, your BJJ is good, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, your wrestling is good, and I know I'm going to fight a kickboxer. It will mean that I must know how to guard. I must know how to punch and kick, but I cannot fight with him if he has been doing kickboxing for years. I can't stand in front of him.
At his level.
I'll have to stand in front of him to look for a way to take him down.
Now that's where I like the I guess the interest comes in, because like Brazilian jiu-jitsu is like grappling. You have to hold the guy, or in a certain position, maybe break his arm. But like now he's a kickboxer. That means he kicks people who are trying to come near him. How that I guess that's the game now. Such a novice.
Technical, bro.
It's technical.
It's technical.
It doesn't just come in one day. Like I was just showing you a video. You saw me take the guy down.
Yeah.
What happens is that if I know your stand-up game, your kickboxing, there are things I can do. Okay, the principles of BJJ are 5. I should put them as 5. Number 1, you have to know how to close the distance. If you're fighting with anyone who knows how to fight, you must know what distance is. If you're going to throw a jab, if you're going to punch, you must know the distance. So you have to first close the distance. When you close the distance, then you have to hold this person. When you hold the person, then you have to take them down. When you take them down, you must end up in a position which is advantageous to you. So meaning it has to be you have to be either at the top or in the side control. There are sometimes I can use, if you don't know BJJ, you can't understand. Then from there, when you are in that dominant, we call it a dominant position, you must land in a dominant position. I don't want to take you down, then I find myself down. So, and if I find myself down, does not mean that I'm defeated. It means now I have to use my BJJ techniques to turn the situation.
To the dominant position.
Now, when I'm in dominant position, if it's MMA, I'll keep punching and punching to make sure to distract you, so that you either give me the arm, either you give me the neck so that I can do a guillotine, or you either have to give me the leg so that maybe I can do a knee bar or an arm bar, or I can do an ankle lock or a wrist lock. Or there are so many that you can do.
Those sound painful.
They're all painful.
A knee bar.
That's why you have to, both fighters, you know that you have a password. Like if I feel I'm being choked, I tap. Either tap on the ground or somewhere, and the umpire, the ref is there. The referees are trained to know that there are some fighters who are big-headed who will not tap, whatever cost.
Break it, yeah.
They break their arms or they pass out.
Yeah, so the ref is there to stop it or to see that, because you can tap when I'm not seeing where you're tapping, but the ref is there to see that, and then he can stop that. So it's a system. It has systems, and for every fighter, usually you have a BJJ coach, you have a conditioning coach, like to make sure that you're ready for the fight. You have then a stand-up coach who does your padding, your kicking and padding, and then an overall coach who strategizes the fighter.
Is a conditioning coach the one who handles like the body conditioning, like hardening it? Because I've seen people who train and they like get a piece of wood and hit their shins.
Yes.
And then they rub it like this. Is that the conditioning?
That is conditioning. Conditioning involves your jogging, your mitts, like you punch. It involves your kicking the bags. It involves lifting weights. It involves like you can lift something, then I put this person down. I put like 5 people down. It involves me kicking a certain place over and over, because you have to have muscle memory. The things you do in training will really show in a fight. So that is part of condition. Even your diet is condition. If you're going to fight at 70 kgs and you start eating just anyhow and taking water anyhow, it means your weight will blow, and then you cannot match your opponent, and then we shall say no, you cannot fight him because your weight is
different.
You have to fight at the same weight. If they said 70 kg, means you're training, you must make sure you don't go under or you don't go above.
Okay.
But I have a question for when so take us back to the conditioning of the shins. But how much harder does that conditioning make your shin? Is it to harden your shin, or is it to kind of condition your shin for pain, the pain of being hit?
Of course, if you understand the way the body works. For example, if you are doing push-ups on a daily basis, if, for example, you started with 10 today, even the whole week 10, next week 10, the other week you'll realize that 10 is boring you. So you'll start going to 15, and then it keeps growing. So even the body, for example, if you keep hitting your knuckles on this surface every day, the knuckle will then calcify. These areas will calcify. There's a way the body works medically. If you look at the way things, if you position your body in one area for so long, then that area will stop having proper blood supply, and then the cells in that area will change, and then they harden. When they harden, it means they're giving another layer of protection. So that's what happens to a shin. You can find someone kicking a tree at a certain
Angle.
power or angle, because it can break, yes, but you have to first get the body used to have that clear, to have those cells get used to that kind of trauma.
Yes.
And the body, you can subject the body to so many things and can adjust.
Because I see guys on TikTok, like these guys from Asia, the guy kicks a metal bar and he bends it in half, then he kicks a rock, he bends it in the same video. I'm like, wow.
Means he has done it for years and years. And
I can
it's
imagine.
about practice.
I remember growing up, I had a cousin who wanted us to do that. Like
Kick
he had a
trees.
stick. No, he had a stick, and he would like legit be rubbing it, and he'd be explaining to me that broken bones heal stronger in the broken places. So you have to create mini fractures, and it will go.
I'm a fighter,
I was
bro.
not involved. Anyways, I really want to know the background of One Zone MMA. What was the inception? Where did that begin?
One Zone was formed 2 years ago between different partners. We all have fighting background. So we are all students of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We were all under the academy of Professor Gomez. He's the only black belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner in East Africa, I should say.
Wow.
Okay, there's another one who's in Kenya, but he's not settled there, so he comes and goes. So I would say in East Africa, he's the one who is here. So I started taking up classes of BJJ, and eventually, because we watch UFC, we watch a lot of UFC. Among the stuff we discussed, and we came up with that concept to start promoting MMA, because we also knew some of the fighters would come. For example, Semata would come to class. We have had discussions with Gololai, would come once in a while. We have fighters who do MMA here.
Yeah.
But it's just that they have not had anyone to promote it properly in a professional way, and to also give skills at the same time. So that's how we came to realize that we have all the ingredients to be able to put it out there. So that's how One Zone MMA was formed.
I think that was what was so interesting to me about One Zone, because when I first saw it, I think I saw one event, and I was shocked by how many fighters were there. And I was like, have these guys just all been, has there been like an underground league where these guys have been training? How are all these guys fighters, And so how's it going now with One Zone? Where you at now with it?
With One Zone, of course, we did our first event in April. The whole of April, we had 4 events. Every Sunday of April, we had an event. It was closed off to the public. Of course, we wanted to see how the fighters would react. We trained the fighters for 4 months to have BJJ, because most of them have a background in stand-up. most of the fighters here in Uganda are either boxers or kickboxers or those who do Muay Thai. Some do judo and taekwondo. So we had different fighters. And we had international fighters also. One was coming from Sudan. One was coming from DR Congo. We had two coming from Kenya, and one from TZ. So we closed off this to the public because we wanted to see what quality we're going to put there after the fighters have undergone this kind of transformation to have BJJ grappling, like you've said. With grappling, then you can be, if you mix it with the stand-up and any other discipline the person has, and following the rules of MMA, then we wanted to have exactly a quality fight put out there. So when we realized that, okay, guys have quality, then we said, and there was a lot of public demand, so we said, let's put one for the public to put it out there so that people can really see this.
So this next one is going to be the first public fight.
Yes, it's a first public.
What are the dates for that one?
1st October.
1st October 2022. You guys have had 1st October 2022.
It's funny you bring up the rules of MMA. I have a question. What are the rules of MMA? What is not allowed? What is allowed? Because the reason I ask is in other combat sports, like say boxing, you can't hit, for example, like the back of the head. But in MMA, that is standard procedure. Like you better watch the back of your head. So what is not allowed?
I think maybe when you're watching MMA, maybe you've seen some accidental incidences, but you don't hit the back of the head.
Yeah.
You don't hit the back of the head. When a fighter taps anywhere, you have to stop. You cannot knee. For example, if I fall on the ground, Melvin is on top of me, he cannot use his knee to hit me. Yes.
When you're on the ground.
Yes.
I've just been watching fouls.
Yes.
When you're on the ground, okay.
If any of you watched the recent fight between, there was a recent fight where they stopped. It was in France, actually. Yeah, it was between Cyril Gane and there's a New Zealander he was fighting. So at one point, Cyril was knocked down. He was knocked out, but he got up. But as he was in the process of getting up, this guy was holding his head, and the ref was telling him, you cannot hit him with the knee. He's on the ground. So he had to wait for him to get up. So you cannot hit with the knee. You cannot hit someone on the ground. The elbows are allowed when you cannot hold in the cage. You cannot hold the cage with your fingers. That's not allowed.
Really?
That's cheating, yes. Like the cage, it has wires.
Holes.
Yeah, it's very dangerous.
Mesh.
If, for example, you're holding and then I use a certain force, your fingers can easily break. So you're not allowed to, and that's leverage, by the way.
Yeah, that's
yes. So you're not
Hitting
allowed.
supports.
Yes, you're not allowed to use but you can use your feet to hit or to push yourself against the cage. But you cannot hold within the cage. You have to stop the moment someone taps. You have to. What are the other rules which are significant?
No extending your fingers.
Yes, you cannot touch someone's eyes. You have to. It has to be in a fisted way all the time. But you can slap. Yes, you can slap. Yes, you can slap, but you cannot poke the eyes. You cannot poke in the ears or in any openings. The usual other rules.
Yeah.
So and the refs in MMA are very, very strict because of safety measures. So we follow almost every other. If you're in stand-up, you follow the rules of boxing. If you're on the ground, you follow the rules of
grappling.
So
let me ask you a question about that. How trained are the referees? Because even during fights, I see the referees at times lifting one of the competitors, and I'm like, it's like a lift.
Yeah.
The if you Google and find out about all the UFC refs, most of them have been fighters before. Even here in Uganda with One Zone, I cannot talk for other sports. With One Zone, we have trained the refs who are also Some are still active fighters. One was just recently here. He was representing Uganda at the judo competitions in the Commonwealth. So all the referees we have and the judges have been former fighters. They have either had boxing or kickboxing, and most of them have actually they have done BJJ.
Good.
They have done BJJ, so they know what they are talking about. Even the commentators, if you watched our Apple event, the commentators have also come to our class. They have done some sparring, because we don't want you to comment on something you don't know how it feels in there.
I know, man.
That's why you see even UFC. Daniel Cormier is a former fighter.
Rogan.
Yes, they are all. They have. You need to know how a choke feels for you to comment on it. You need to know how an amber feels for you to comment on it. So everyone we are working with or we are dealing with has a background in combat sport. We are not dealing with anyone who is coming, let me say, from hockey or soccer to just say because you are a referee there, or someone has been a referee in boxing, then we bring him in. No, you must come to class and learn. This card is my class card.
What does it mean?
This card,
I see twos.
you see Gomez Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy Uganda. So all my other partners have this. The fighters have this. So every class you attend, you graduate, because with the BJJ, it has belts. The first belt is white, then you go to blue, then you go to purple, then you go to brown, then you go to black. Now, each belt has 4 stripes. So the first stripe in white belt, there are 4. There are 4 for each. So each of those stripes has techniques that you must demonstrate to the professor or to your sensei or to your instructor before you graduate to the next. It's not just because I come to class or because I know how to do this. No, it's a discipline. It's a class. Like I have to graduate. You understand? So every Tuesday and Thursday we go to the academy. We have our private classes, but also we have classes for the fighters. So if you came on Saturday, you can come and watch the class ongoing. If you came on Tuesday and Thursday, you'll see the class ongoing, and you'll see the discipline in class, and you'll see the techniques being shown and explained. Because everything in MMA and in combat sport has a reason. Why do I have to hold a guillotine in a certain way, a choke in a certain way? Why do I have to hold a number in a certain? Because there's holding it and you can escape. If you go for something, you must finish it. Those are some of the principles. And you have to demonstrate, like, if I do this, if I don't do this, then the opponent will do this. So you can only get those if you come to class. And you see, I hold it dear. This is like my wallet. I move with this.
You have copies. But if you get
It's like a national ID.
And this you can only get it from the professor.
Yeah.
So even the fighters have this. So it's something we are giving to Ugandans through One Zone. It's professional. It's not something you just pick and say, come and replace.
Let's go and fight.
No.
So ideally, for someone to participate in the tournament, they have to present this card.
Not necessarily, but I'm just trying to show you that if you're going to fight under One Zone, we shall say you're going to fight Melvin. Probably Melvin has been training with us. But if you say you also have your own way, we shall not reject. We shall say you and Melvin, you're going to fight at 65 kgs. Yeah, it's upon you now to look for this academy and enhance your BJJ skills, because you already know Melvin has been doing BJJ. So if you feel that is useless, there are fighters who will say, no, I'm not allowed to be taken down. So I don't need it. I'll just do my karate and I'll come and destroy Melvin. So it's upon you, really. But like, for you to be a complete fighter, an MMA fighter, you must know all the other disciplines somewhere, somehow.
Okay, so my question to that would be, what are the checks and balances, because then me I can come and tell you I know BJJ. Then I reach the ring and guys beat me. So what are the checks before the fights to actually ensure that this guy can actually fight or compete?
Yeah, that's the other thing. For example, we are having a fighter coming from Congo. Of course, they are not training under us, but we task them to give us videos of their trainings to measure their capacity to be able to. Because you can say, I'm a fighter. Anyone can claim to be a fighter. Even that one who watches movies, Jack Chan movies,
Plays
Bruce Lee.
UFC.
That's my brand
Yes.
of fighting.
Yes.
A fighter.
Yeah. So he feels within him. But when you face a fighter and you get hit once or you're put in a certain situation, that's when you realize
Real life.
These
The
things
forces
hurt.
and movies, by the way, have destroyed people's minds that they feel they can challenge real fighters. You wake up and you say you're going to fight Gorola because you've seen that maybe what he did in the ring didn't please you because you want him to jump like Jack Chan, and then you think you can challenge him. It's
And it ends badly.
The full errand.
So now, bouncing off that, I want to know what your thoughts of just fight culture in Uganda are, or like the state of it prior to One Zone MMA, and where you think One Zone MMA is going to take it.
Yeah. So when we set up One Zone MMA, we did what we can call market survey to really find out if there are people who have tried to do BJJ, karate, and the rest. So we discovered that there are some people who knew about MMA who have traveled actually. We have 2 fighters who are in Thailand right now for the preparation of this because they feel their BJJ is good. They want to do more of the
Muay Thai.
And where is the world of Muay Thai is in?
Thailand.
So we have Alan Masiko is over there. And for us, what we discovered was that we have a lot of talent in Uganda. A lot of talent. But the only thing is that they are not given, they don't have opportunity. There has been so many wrangles in different federations. Also, the exposure of the fighters is limited because you find that in families, they consider combat sport to be a sport for hooligans and stuff. They don't appreciate the talent that this person is special in a certain way. This person has decided to channel his energies into combat sport. But it's now that people have started, just like gyms. Back in the days, a gym, someone to hear that you've gone to a gym, they feel you're a hooligan.
You're a thief.
Is that true?
Now
You're
yes.
a thief or a bouncer.
Now it's a culture because people can do selfies in a gym.
Yeah.
It's like a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And now
And
there's
it's
a lot.
actually cool.
Yeah, people are talking about it.
I
stuff,
gym.
Yes. So we discovered that most of the fighters are also underprivileged, but if they are given exposure, they can go far. Yeah. So we said we are going to kickstart this with a professionalism first. For example, if you tell you're going to fight under 60 kgs, if you miss even by an ounce, you're not going to fight. You're out. Discipline. If we say training is from Monday to Friday, from 9 a.m. first session up to maybe midday. The other section is from 3 to 5, and you miss out, then we are going to cut you out. So most fighters, of course, in the beginning, the discipline was not there because they thought they are dealing with the usual
things.
But then they came to realize we are very strict. So in this public event, the people who dealt with us in April have all come back because they have realized that One Zone is
Professional.
Yes.
very professional. We pay on time because the other thing we discovered is the fighters also will tell us, like, they go to an event, they fight. After they fight, you look for the promoter, you can't see him. Or the company, whoever is supposed to pay them. So it discourages them. But with One Zone, you can't find a single fighter who will say, I was was not paid, or I'm not catered for, or we are trying to push the talent to the next level, so that someone who is in EFC will want to come and fight in One Zone. Someone in UFC will want to come and fight in One Zone. That's our target.
Something I've always wondered, with different sports, people's bodies, like you were saying earlier, their bodies evolve in a certain way. So say for swimmers, their limbs become like when you see a swimmer, his body just looks weird. You can tell that guy is a swimmer. Are there any attributes that when you see an MMA fighter, whether he has fought before or not, you can just tell this guy is going to be a good fighter, or this guy is already a good fighter?
Like when he's
Or
young,
like the genetic composition.
Yeah,
Is
like-
that what you mean?
like from a young age.
Yes, like how basketballers are tall, or swimmers have long
long
arms.
You have like big
yeah.
fists. Nah, that's maybe
That's
too-
basket.
See, I
No.
can kiddo.
That's too. It's too. That
There,
prediction
there,
is too
there are
simple.
just things which can give you an advantage.
Mhm.
Some physical attributes which can give you an advantage in
Like
combat
reach,
sports. Yeah,
stuff like
reach, but does not mean that you're going to
Win.
win. Or so, I'll give you an example. Did you watch Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
the first one?
Mm.
Whom did you put your money on?
Obvious.
Hey, Anthony
AJ.
Joshua.
It had to be
Yeah.
AJ.
Did you watch the second fight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened? AJ had to
Everything changed.
adjust
Yeah.
Yeah.
because he had realized
If I let
this
this
guy's
guy inside,
hands are quick. He looks chubby, but he's fit.
mm,
His body does not represent who he is in
Mhm.
terms of the heart, because to be a fighter you must have the heart, you must have a mindset of a fighter, you must have the discipline to wake up at 5 a.m. and do maybe 12 kilometers. You must have that switch in your mind to say that I'm going for this, I'm going to win, I'm not going to feel the pain. The pain is post the fight, actually. When I used to play rugby, like even when I do sparring, the pain is the next day. It's not on the day of the fight or when you're in there, because the switch is on. When the switch is on, you don't feel anything.
Is that like metaphorically, like you don't feel it? Oh yeah, you're saying like physically the pain when you're in there, the adrenaline is pumping, you don't feel the punch when your nose is broken.
No, what happens? You see, when you've been preparing, and then when you go in there, if you go and Google about adrenaline rush and stuff, all those things contribute, and your preparation contributes. So by the time your mindset, you give it that now he's going to throw a punch, I'll throw a punch. Whenever it lands, I'll not feel, I'll have to go again.
So I
A
guess
lot, yes.
You want it more than the pain.
Yeah,
Then that pain is going to like.
just look at the things that you do on a daily basis. If you are going to, it's at 1 a.m. in the night, you still have 5 more emails. It's your mind. You can say, I'm going to push and finish this so that tomorrow I have a fresh day.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
That makes sense. It's like how you go to the gym and push, then the next day
It's
you're
not
like,
the same thing because no one is punching you in the face, bro. Like
That's
that's
why
why
I think is by the time you enter that ring to get punched in the face, you
You
already
know you're
decided,
going to
bro,
get punched.
Yes.
that it's either me or him.
It's like football.
Yeah.
Football. When you go in there, haven't you seen guys, they are countrymates, but when they're getting out of the tunnel, they're not.
And not bad days. Yeah.
After the match, they're hugging, and it's a switch. You psych. We call it psyching. Psych. You say you're now in the moment. For a fighter, even you yourself at your daily work, yeah, even a surgeon goes into surgery knowing that I'm not losing any patient. A fighter goes in the ring, in the cage, knowing he's going to win his fight. So going back to what you asked, the body, some body attributes can give you an advantage, but does not mean that because I'm chubby, I cannot fight. No, I can be chubby and I go on those scales. I can look chubby. I go on the scales and I'm at 65, but my body doesn't look that. Yeah, and you're wondering how. So I can be tall, very tall, and then I cut weight to fit the 65. But now, my skills, what am I going to use in there? It just depends on quite a lot. Andy Ruiz knew his hands are fast. Did you watch his fight over the weekend?
No, who did he
He
fight?
fought with Luis Ortiz,
Yeah.
the guy who
Damn.
fought Deontay Wilder.
They fought
That's
each
what
other?
I wanted
Who
to
won?
ask you. So
Ruiz won.
Wow.
you see,
Wow.
his body has changed so much ever since that first fight. You also have to adjust to that because
Yes.
now he was a lot more chubby then, and now he's actually more
Slimmer.
built.
Yes.
So you also have to adjust your style when your body changes.
He when he fought AJ the second time, he said because of the being the world champion, he stopped the discipline of what he's supposed to eat, the weight he's supposed to. Fought AJ when he was really up there, but of
Gained
course
weight.
AJ, so he changed the style of fighting him. He fought. He stopped going aggressive and just trying to go into him. Yeah, he was fighting from a distance.
And he lost weight.
You know? But this guy, he changed trainers. He dropped some weight, about maybe 15 kg.
He dropped a lot of
If you
weight.
can see, he still looks chubby, but you can
Yes.
see he has packs even now. So when he fought another guy, Ariola, I think 4 months ago. He won, but it was not convincing.
Yeah.
But now this time around, if you watch that fight on Sunday,
It was
he knocked
convincing.
out Ortiz around 4 times
Damn.
in one match. So he's not an easy, but when you look at his body and they tell you this guy is a boxer,
You might not believe them immediately.
One of our fighters from Kenya is called Peter something. He won his fight again, heavyweight. He won his fight against one of our guys, Karim. If you look at Karim is a good fighter. He's big, he's huge. But I can tell you, this guy who looked chubby and unfit, everyone was shocked that he kicked Karim in the head and Karim dropped.
He really
It
took
happens
that
in the
Yeah,
fight.
yeah.
It happens if you practice whatever you practice. You'll be able to put it in a fight.
Does that say anything about someone like AJ? Because AJ, when it comes to fighting, you would say he has the perfect body. His reach is good, but even recently, even lost to what's his name? Usyk.
Alexander.
Yeah, and again, when you compare the two and you see them on paper, it'd be like AJ is going to win.
You see, Alexander Usyk came from. He was not a heavyweight, basically. That's what I should say. Came from cruiserweight, and he went because he had beaten everyone in cruiserweight. Now the talent of this guy is different. If you look at his footwork, if you look at he fights southpaw. Southpaw means left-handed. So there's a lot that he has. He can beat any heavyweight boxer. That's my feeling. And even he's going to fight with Tyson Fury. It is safe.
Eventually.
I think he will do it. But going back to MMA just depends on the style you want to use in a fight, in a cage.
A particular fight.
Yes. And depends on your preparation. If you say I'm going to fight, my fight is going to be on the ground, then you have to plan to see how you're going to take Melvin to the ground and finish your fight from the ground. Kamaru Usman, did you watch that fight? He lost, the Nigerian.
Yeah.
But
Kicked
do you know
his
why he
face.
lost? Do you know why he lost?
Did they kick him in the
Yes.
face?
They did. But you see, the strategy. He lost the first round, but by a small margin. He won the second round, the third round, the fourth round. Now in the fifth round, he was supposed to have just to continue doing what he was doing in the first, to keep taking the guy down, ground and pound, keep him there, tire the guy. He was winning that fight that way. Then towards the end of the fight, then I don't know why he decided that they should go and trade. You know, when you're fighting with someone and
I think he thought the fight was over.
Maybe he was tired.
I think he thought this fight is won. So now let's just.
Or maybe he wanted to end it quickly. He was tired.
no, sometimes you can lose strategy. Just you see, if we stand together, stand up like me and you stand. You're not trained. I'm trained. You can swing one punch,
And I'll go.
grabs me, and I'm out. So why should I go to give you that opportunity?
Risk
Why
that.
don't I close up that risk and I keep you on the ground where I'm sure that you see, when you're on ground, the punch is not that painful because the center of gravity is too low for both of you. So much as you'll punch, it's not that painful. But if you're up, you throw a punch, I throw a punch. If yours gets me any of the points that can knock out someone, then I'll go down, even if I have 40 black belts.
Which are those points that can knock out a person? I know there's that joke. I know. No, let me tell you what I know. I'm not just. I'm trying to like fill out my knowledge. I know like that jaw. You punch that one, the brain rocks. You're out. The liver. That one is just too painful. Apparently, your legs just shut down. Are there any others I'm missing?
No, you see, it just depends on how you've heard of people say that he has a glass chin, he has a weak chin, he has. It just depends on your spirit. How much pain can you absorb? That is one. And two, depends on the exact center where they have hit, and the brain shakes. Depends on the force of the punch. So if I hit here, but the force also transmits all the way to the jaw, basically here, most times people will fall. But depends on
who the guy
force.
is.
You can hit here and someone just stumbles because the punch was not good enough, was not strong enough.
It's like a hard neck.
So if you hit behind the head, I mean, all the centers that control
The spine.
it controls a lot from the lungs to so many things pass here. So that's very dangerous. If you hit here, most likely you're going to go. But the thing is, it just depends on the force. And also it depends on your mind. If you tell your mind that I'm beaten or I'm going to stay down there, then
That's true.
you're going
I
to
think
stay
that
down.
reminds me of that Fury fight where they knocked him out and he got up on like the 8th count.
Exactly. Versus Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
Exactly. He told himself, I'm getting up, and he got up.
I'm really interested in what kind of precautions you have to take from a medical perspective if you're going to host a fight like what you guys are going to do. Like how,
Like an ambulance.
like to what extent do you have to go? Because I know at rugby games there has to be an ambulance, right?
Yeah.
But now at this kind of fight, you must have like 10 ambulances. You must have like
surgeon.
yeah, already.
I can tell you that actually, when you look at an MMA fight, I've been in both worlds. Rugby, I've done combat sports, so I know. Even soccer, I've played soccer, I know. The risk is the same. Now, this is what happens. Okay, for example, One Zone, we are preparing an event. There must be an ambulance. Okay, for every event, sports event, there must be an ambulance. We do medical checkups for all our fighters. We do blood tests to make sure that you don't have hepatitis B, you don't have hepatitis C, any form of hepatitis.
Why hepatitis in particular?
HIV, because hepatitis can transmit through sweat.
Oh.
So you can't fight
Fight.
if you have any of those. HIV, it's the same story. We also make sure that we
HIV
check
can transmit through sweat.
not through sweat, but yes, if the viral load is so high, but it's minimal
the blood?
chance.
Because
But
like
blood,
export
yes,
blood.
of course, blood.
Okay.
Yeah.
And combat sport, rugby,
There'll be blood.
even soccer. Have you seen that soccer guys sometimes get cuts after heading the ball and they collide? Yes,
Yeah.
people collide, the heads are cut, and you find someone. Peter Cech played for how many years with a headgear?
Oh, that was because of a head injury.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's where did
that's
he get
football.
it from?
I thought it was a style.
It
It might have been his thing, bro. That's how he stands out as a goalie.
My goodness, no. Peter Cech had a very
Head
serious
injury.
head injury.
Oh,
Yeah, so
I respect him so much more now. Because it was like a top goalie.
every contact sport is dangerous. Every contact sport has. Let me give you an example. American football, they play with headgears, but still, how many
Concussions.
concussions do we get? And it has the highest
Rate
concussion
of
rate
concussion.
compared to MMA.
No, those guys, they
Yeah.
really hit their heads, man. They
It's
got to
almost
their
like
way.
the helmets give them.
You know, me the problem
More
with it
gas.
is they can hit you and you don't have the ball. Because you see with rugby, like if you tackle another guy, that's you can even get a red card for
Yeah,
that.
same with
Bro, those
football.
guys go all out, man.
So we do all medical precautions. We have a physician who looks after, like before the fight, they will check everyone's from the heart to your whole system. We do blood checkups, and then
I'm curious. Of course, mixed martial arts is mixed martial arts. Are there any African martial arts that are used in MMA that some fighters maybe use? Any African martial arts?
Like how Muay Thai is from
Like
Thailand.
how Muay Thai is from Thailand, boxing like from England. Oh, yeah, Chigo Chiganda.
You see, the thing is, if you go to West Africa, they have some sort of boxing.
Damn,
where
bro.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, you've seen that.
I watch it on Instagram.
How different
Yeah.
is it from boxing? It's the same, but just that they use one
hand, yeah.
Mm.
And they hold
One
themselves.
hand.
And they wrap it up. I told you about it. They wrap it
I've
up with like a
seen
bandage,
it.
make it
Yeah.
like a mallet or
They
something.
have
But
rules, you know. Now here we have Chigo Chiganda. Chigo Chiganda is what has been used in the whole of Uganda, like too. But what is uniform is that grappling is everywhere, worldwide. What the Brazilians did to come up with BJJ, there's a Japanese who had traveled to Brazil and met this Brazilian, the Gracie family. I don't know whether you've heard of that story. So they had to make, they mixed the two cultures because the other one has more of judo. So he had some other techniques that he added to judo. Then when it came, they compared notes and they came up with BJJ. That's why they call it Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Because jiu-jitsu
Is a Japanese.
it's a Japanese.
Hey.
Interesting.
So then this guy, how even UFC started or MMA started, this guy went to USA to America, and he would go to every gym and challenge people and say, I know no one can beat me, whether you're a karate man or...
Which guy was this?
that was, I think, Gracie. Yeah, if I'm right. One of the Gracies. So when he went to USA, started challenging
Guys.
And he was beating everyone. So it started. So they were asking, which is the most superior
Fighting
discipline or style? Is it kung fu? Is it what? Is it? So they organized the show where there were no rules. The people are
Hey,
fighting
bring
in
your
the
own.
cage. If you check UFC 1, it's called UFC 1. You know they have 1, 2, up to I think, yeah. So if you dig deep, you'll get that story. And for this guy, actually, for him, he fought with his gi, that uniform that you always see, like for karate, because that can also give a lot of chokes if you train in gi. Yes, your tie is a weapon. I can use it to choke you.
Oh, they
your
use.
shirt. Yes, your shirt is a weapon. Actually, if you had to fight, he's safer than you are.
You'll just grab my tie.
If you don't have a tie,
Eh,
that shirt there
the
is
collar.
the collar. If I put my hand there and I pull, then you're going to sleep in seconds, in 3 seconds.
You're vulnerable, bro.
Listen.
But
So-
you have a chain.
Yeah.
This thing will snap off, bro.
Yes. So
Ready for anything.
that's how MMA started. They went on refining it. But even BJJ today is not the BJJ
that guy used.
because other people, like, for example, Melvin could have realized that if I do the arm like this and like this, then so they can name that as Melvin's what? Maybe bar or choke or whatever. So different people have come discovering things and they have been implementing them, into the fight scene. So today you'll find a lot of leg locks, a lot of so many things which are ongoing. But you remember that in a fight, you have like a second to implement. You have a few seconds to implement what you want to do. And remember, you're sweating.
Yeah.
So the people who do chokes, you have to respect the guy for being able to implement that thing in there.
Let me ask you a question. Who is your favorite UFC fighter and why?
Favorite, I think, is Israel Adesanya
Hey.
because he adapts quickly. He was a kickboxer. He came and has dominated the weight. They have different guys in different
weight
weight
classes.
classes. But Adesanya, because for him, if you look at his fights, some may look boring to a person who doesn't understand fighting business. Because if I've come to fight with you and you don't give me what to react to, then I'll play safe and keep my belt. I'll do whatever it takes within my powers to, But if you give him a fight, he'll fight you back. And he rarely do guys take him down. Yeah, because he knows how to manage his range, the distance, the style is just. He's a complete fighter.
He can do all the
Yes, he
The
can
martial
do
arts.
everything. He's now going to. I think I don't know the first time I watched him, he was still a white belt,
Wow.
but now he has gone all the way. I think he's now brown. I'm not so sure. Either he's purple or brown belt. Now.
He's not yet a black belt.
No,
Wow.
these things are not easy.
The movies make it sound like everyone has a black belt,
can
man.
be a
Like,
black belt.
We
It's
have
more,
those
it's more
things
the
in-
discipline than
Yeah.
marketing.
When someone tells you they're black belt, there's a way they hold themselves. You can see that this guy knows what he's talking about.
don't overtalk.
If someone says I'm a black belt,
it's not possible for a jolly black belt. It's not possible. So like the black belt procedure will remove all those qualities from you.
even if you meet a real fighter, they're the most disciplined, nice guys.
Yeah, Conor
I can see
McGregor.
that. I can see that.
Okay, maybe on
Conor
Instagram
McGregor,
he's wild.
Tyson, these guys, of course, just have their personalities. They are short-tempered, maybe. So if he has gone to a bar to drink and you say some word against him, you want to show who he is. There are a few fighters like that. There are people who are like that. Even in work environment,
True.
you can ask someone, assist me with that stamp, and maybe the tone you use, he didn't like it, and
Black belt.
Yeah, so there are sometimes it just depends on personality, but most fighters are very disciplined. You will not find them in very few. You'll find in stupid issues.
Easy. Who else?
My favorite fighters, there's Peter Yan. There is of course Ngannou. Yeah, Francis Ngannou. There's that guy who won on Saturdays, Cyril Gane. I love. He's a heavyweight, but he moves like,
Muhammad
Lightweight.
Ali.
he does everything. His BJJ is good. His stand up is good. His grappling, he's good. He's a complete fighter. I like that. I have other guys like
What about the guy we just spoke about who got knocked out?
Usman.
Usman.
Yeah.
Usman is also good. There are quite many.
Um,
They have different styles.
Mm.
There
How about our
was-
Russian guy? What's his
yeah,
name again? Khabib.
Khabib.
He retired, no?
Khabib is good. He's good. He uses a lot of grappling.
That guy trains with bears. How
Used
does
to
that?
now,
Does that?
No, those are
What
not-
age does
they're
that
not
give him
real.
in the ring?
Apparently,
not
they were
real.
declawed bears.
They are not
Okay,
real,
a
but,
declawed bear is still a bear, bro.
That was a baby bear.
Oh, it was a small bear.
Still
He's
a
fighting
bear, you
baby
bear.
bears.
but the
He was a
thing is,
Is
in Russia, you see they have they do a lot of grappling. They do a lot of wrestling. Here in Uganda, who does Chigo now? No one.
Is
The
that
Chigo
style?
should have been
advanced.
advanced. Should have been we should have put in some other ingredients to be able to,
Make it
But
complete.
it's techniques. The techniques of a Chigo. They are underhooks, which are also there in BJJ. If, for example, I put an underhook, I'm most likely going to take you down.
And what's an underhook?
Like if I put my hands between your
Yeah.
armpits,
Mm.
it means I'm inside. If you are outside,
Means you're controlling me.
chances are
Mm.
low. An underhook, an overhook, there's a wizard. There are all those things. If you see Chiganda, you'll see them
They're
there.
there.
But the thing is, they're just not refined.
But they don't need the Chikochiganda every year like on the Kabaka's birthday. They haven't been improving.
That's once
So
a
one
year.
fight.
But how many kids in school do it?
Oh,
Did you do it?
that's what it takes.
If you go to Brazil, you'll find a lot of kids doing BJJ. If you go to New Zealand, you'll find a lot of kids playing rugby. If you go to Fiji, they play a lot of rugby.
That's how it's advanced.
Yes, here in Uganda, we don't have grassroots kind of system.
Is that in a plan, a One Zone plan?
Yes, we plan to have a One Zone academy which will have everything, so that we have even young kids doing BJJ grappling, so that they transition. Like if you have holidays, you can come. Now, guys like you should be able to come to the dojo and see what happens. If you are walking with your girlfriend on the street and someone pulls her phone or her handbag or taps her in an inappropriate way, how will you feel?
How you react?
Fight back?
So you have to
And
know
now
how to
if
fight
you
back.
you don't know how to fight, or if you have never experienced
A punch.
in your face, but if you came and just feel that sweat, that squeezing, you feel that small punch on a daily, then your brain will start getting used to that, and then you can you can know the principles in self-defense. Someone has a knife, you have to run.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought you about told me there's a move for that.
For me,
Well,
if you
no.
came with a knife, you have a gun, you are two people, I'll run away.
True.
Yeah.
We're not bulletproof.
Don't think what you see in movies. In reality, in life, it's totally different.
Guys, when I become a white belt next year,
White belt.
But there's someone show us like Krav Maga where they teach you how to handle like someone coming at you with a weapon. Or is that just a myth?
I'm telling you.
If a guy has a gun or a knife, run.
I'm telling you, if someone has a gun, he has stood there and he says,
Give me
I
your
want
phone.
that computer.
Just give it to him.
Get up, give him even if you can kneel, give it to him.
Give him the computer.
Comes with a knife.
Comes
Comes with a knife. He says, I want that microphone. Give it to him. What do you have to lose? But if he says, I want that mic, at the same time he still wants to stab you, then you have to
You have
fight.
no choice.
You
Yeah.
have to fight. It's a different story.
The movies are really spoiled us.
And you would know what to do. As a fighter, you know.
Yes, you'll know that I can use that computer to defend myself. I can use...
damn, that didn't even come to my mind.
But I feel like now that's like the movie taking over. Like I'd grab like the roadcaster and try to like do something. Like I wait for him to swing, then I hold his hand and then
So it's it will just come automatic.
Yeah.
You will not just come.
And that happens during
chair,
fighting.
the what.
For example, you're in an underhook. Is it like instinct, or you've done this before and you've practiced it? So you're like, yeah.
Technique is very, very important. That if you practice it, you'll do it. That's why we attend class. That if you overdo it, then
It becomes second nature.
it becomes, yes, muscle memory and stuff. If, for example, you grab me in a rear naked choke, you want to do rear naked choke, because I know I'll tuck my neck in, because I know. Now you'll panic to start.
And
I'm
you
not
return.
probably
and then
saying
when
this.
you open your neck, it becomes easy. And two, the person choking me, it depends on what
they know.
what they know. Because there's a quicker of finishing the choke in like 3 seconds. 5 seconds, you're dead. Yes.
You keep saying 3 seconds.
But like these time frames are so small, man. Like
so
you have 1
specific.
second to think.
No, it is 3 seconds.
Hey.
3 seconds if someone has grabbed you because you're
Properly.
cutting off the jugular vein that takes blood to the brain. So in 3 seconds, you and if they continue holding for 5 seconds, you're dead.
Damn.
That's the reality. So,
Bro.
Bro, I feel so fragile right now, bro. 3 seconds.
yeah. So most of these things, One Zone is putting them out there for the public to know and understand that there's a way of doing combat sport in a professional way and also in an entertaining way. That's why we prep the fighters to give an entertaining combat sport.
Going back to One Zone very briefly, is there, because you've said you have a fighter from Kenya, from Congo, all these things, is there a plan to expand to like the region, the continent, something like that?
Yeah, of course, when we had our first event, it was online, and also we're doing on our website, you could watch it live. So after the show, we had so many fighters from different countries asking, can I come and fight in your next event? Because they saw the quality. They saw the organization, they saw the quality and the quality of the fight. Because a fighter knows, if he sees, he'll know that this has been,
Done well.
Yeah, these guys have drilled. Yeah. And there's sportsmanship. You don't see a guy refusing to hug the other or to say, man, cheers, you won, but next time I'll mess you up. So it's the quality, the preparation, the professionalism. When you put all that together, and we are trying to go in different regions. Soon or later, we shall have to go in different find One Zone holding an event in Kenya. UFC right now they're holding in Paris, Saudi Arabia. They've been to Dubai. Yeah, we can't sit just here, but this is home. This is where it's starting, and this is where we shall be best for years to come.
Are there any? So you see how you said Izzy and all of those are your favorite fighters out there. What about with One Zone? Do you have
With
any
One
guys who
Zone?
are your favorites?
With One Zone, because we are still exploring. Yeah, we are still exploring. I can't say who. I've seen one fight. I can put you in my bucket of favorite fighters if I see 10 of your fights. Yeah, so it's very hard to judge.
Okay, but are there any fights based off that first event that you're excited for now in this next event?
Want to watch out for?
The guys to watch out for. Yes, there is Bonane, the main card. The main card. The main card is Bonane, and he's fighting an Ethiopian. I know he can do quite a lot.
The Ethiopian?
The Ugandan guy.
Bonani.
Yeah. The Ethiopian, I know he does both grappling and stand-up, but I don't know how good he is. I'm now speaking for the one I've seen. I know the other guy is preparing. We have seen his videos, but there's preparation video and reality, like fights now, So Bonane is a good fighter. We have quite many good fighters, I should say. Alex Masiko is in Thailand right now training. If you go to YouTube, watch Alex Masiko. His Muay Thai fights, they're good quality.
Elbows.
Yes, you Google him. He's a good fighter. Actually, Rebecca Among, the lady, my goodness,
She's crazy.
She landed on like Melvi.
Nah.
She's
Finished.
Won't be me.
3 seconds.
It'll be like she has a knife, bro. Listen,
She's young. She's young. Even Joan Nasolo, the Kawaka's daughter, she's a fighter. She's good.
Oh yeah, I've
Her
actually
style
seen.
is
I've
good.
seen a fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have many good fighters. Much as she lost her fight, but the person she was fighting was equally good. It was a 50-50 fight
Nice.
for people who understand fighting. So we have quite a number of skilled fighters, and this is what we want to churn out and put them to the public and say, look at what we have.
Okay.
Have you been seeing this like bare knuckle fights?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on those? Is that something you'd branch into? What?
No, for us, we are strictly concentrating on MMA.
I mean,
Bare knuckle fight is just another style. Like, will you take the punch? Like I told you, psychological. We have protection on the knuckles here. The other side, they don't have. I've even seen fights, slapping competition. You've seen
I watch
Yeah,
those. I
I
love
love
those.
So all those,
Punch
it's all
down.
about the mindset. Can
Is that
you
also
take
part of
pain?
MMA?
No.
Man, you can never know.
Hey, but those guys,
But
guy can
MMA is
slap a
about-
watermelon and
You
it
see
bursts.
this one, they tie the guys in one place. So you have to keep slapping each other. They have seen that. I've seen one where you just stand, you take the slap, and then you wait. Your turn.
Take a slap.
If you're knocked out with a slap can knock you out.
I've
So-
seen that, man.
the slaps
But,
are
yeah.
So it's all about, do you have a hard chin? Yeah. So for us, One Zone, we are strictly concentrating on mixed martial arts.
So would you say like bare knuckle is more dangerous or like it's an equal amount of danger? Is it like
Because I'm not into bare knuckle. Bare knuckle is like fighting on the street.
Mm.
The rules are, they have rules, but like the only difference is there's no
protection?
protection on the knuckles.
Now I want to go into the entertainment side of it. Have you been seeing the recent YouTube boxing?
Yeah. I watch a lot of sports, be it football, be it.
Mm.
So I've
What do you
watched-
think about it? Like you have these say martial arts, yeah, and then now it's mostly for entertainment. Does that make sense? Like it's no longer we've come to compete, it's now like let's just entertain the people, make money and leave. Do you think as a fighter does that water down the sport for you, or it's
what I've seen is it's not that they're just entertaining. The YouTube, you're talking about YouTubers.
yeah, the
Like-
YouTubers
Yeah,
boxing,
Like KSI.
KSI and the
Logan
they
Paul,
put
stuff
in
like
work.
that.
Logan Paul. They put in work, and Logan
Paul.
Paul wanted to make KSI wanted to make history by fighting two people in one night.
He did.
And he knocked
And
out
he
both
did.
of them.
But he also knew that those are not real fighters.
Yeah.
He had that confidence. He knew that I can fight this guy and the other guy because they're not really fighters.
But in that now like spectacle, more of is that like
No, but
proper
it
boxing
brings
sportsmanship?
you now an anticipation within you towards bigger boxing matches. It's more of like promotion, I would say. So that's why, for me, what I respect with them is that they are putting in work.
Yeah.
They go to the gym, they do their pads, they jog.
I've
they-
seen his sets
So
and it's
you
crazy.
can't say that he's not really
A fighter.
a fighter. He's a fighter. He fought Mayweather. Much as Mayweather of today is not the same Mayweather, but he gave his all, and they are not of the same weight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And then, have you watched an anime called Baki?
Yeah, watch anime.
I don't watch. I watch anime kind of movies, but like it's been a while since because of time. You're involved in so much, so if I need to get time to sit and watch a movie or a series and concentrate on it.
You know, the reason he's asking because like anime is particularly it's Japanese cartoons
Yes, I
and
know
they
them.
you know anime. So the,
Yes.
like Baki like and Kengan Nashua they go into like why it might interest you.
I think you'd
They
enjoy
go
it.
into like mixed MMA fighting, but they push it to like the extreme, like
I know.
into like
But it's a movie. For
Yeah.
me, I'm into
real life, real punches.
real stuff. It's like saying if you watched a Bruce Lee movie or Jack Chan movie or a Jet Li movie, hitting 20 people, 40 people, how much cardio have you done? How much the reality of things? Because the kung fu's and the what, those are more of like choreographed
True.
stuff.
True.
If you really go, you find even in a movie there's a choreographer who puts up a fighting scene. But like in fighting business, man, it's totally different.
Choreographed.
It's different.
Is there like a movie or series that stands out to you that portrayed fighting realistically?
Yeah,
Or like
they
a
are there.
documentary even.
They are there. There are movies which portray real fighting, and you see that what they are doing is real. Like it fits. Yeah,
Like Creed or Southpaw.
Creed.
yeah. Those are the most recent ones.
but
But like when you watch a movie, someone is jumping in the air, and those are not real. But so many movies where you find like a soldier goes into a rear naked choke. Those are real. 3 seconds.
That's the name of
Yeah.
this
Seconds
podcast.
has been killing me.
Yeah, someone twisted. Those are real things.
Hey.
Do that, the person will go
Now
down.
they told me it takes only 8 pounds of force to break a neck. What is like 8 pounds of force?
Yeah, so
It doesn't sound like much.
there are things which happen in real fighting stories, and there are things which happen in like movies. You're acting, you'll do this, you'll do this.
Yeah.
Nothing scares me more than when you're watching like a UFC fight and they break a guy's arm.
Or his leg.
Okay. Yeah, guys. Listen, this has been a really good podcast. I'm so glad that you came today. We can't wait to have more conversations with guys from, One Zone MMA, the fighters, want to keep talking to you guys. And I feel like maybe we should go for at least one of those trainings, man. We should go and
I'm
learn
definitely going to
some
pass by,
BJJ.
I've been thinking of like getting into like self-defense classes, but I think that's a good place.
Jiu-jitsu, I feel
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, you need that.
Plug
Wow.
how people can attend this event.
yeah.
So the event itself is on 1st October at Serena Hotel. You can get your tickets at Design Hub. I'm counting on a table here.
If you don't see me,
We're also
Yeah.
counting
fight
on
you.
you.
Why are you sweating?
Nah,
Table
but
is,
for sure.
Why are you
a table
sweating,
is 3
Melvin?
million.
Mm.
An individual ticket is at 150,000. VIP table, like single, it goes for 400,000. Then VVIP is for 5 million.
Nice.
How many people on the table?
10 people on it.
Okay.
Yeah, and it will start on time. We are very, very professional. It will start at 8 sharp. 8 sharp, the first fight will be kicking off. And there will be a lot of entertainment. We shall have DJs, we shall have some musicians, we shall, like someone was asking the entertainment side of it. combat sport is no longer something that you look at and say, I'm going to a stadium just and no. There's an entertainment side of it. You are coming to slay, to
Experience.
that expensive jacket of yours. You want to show your spouse something different, something they have not seen before. So that's what is going to happen. And
Is that dress code? That last part there.
you have to. I mean, if you talk about Serena,
You have to.
You come in shorts and
Can't come how
Crocs.
you are.
and you have you do some photo
Ops.
red carpet walking. So it's basically high end stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now, looking forward to that one.
Honestly.
Definitely see midday.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks so much for coming, Patrick. I think we shall stay in touch for sure. Guys, like, subscribe, go follow One Zone MMA on Instagram, YouTube. You guys have
There's also a
Twitter,
website.
Twitter, Facebook.
Facebook, everywhere. I think we'll plug them. Wendy will plug them below. Okay, and I feel like that's it. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.